On this week's episode of Archer and the Devil,
we talk about
dinosaurs,
samurais,
Brexit,
triceratops,
steroids,
water retention,
Cleopatra,
the pyramids,
Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan.
And there's lots more.
There's loads
more. If any of that interests you and it sounds like it could be a bit of fun, then please don't forget to subscribe. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, everywhere you can get your podcast. And if you do use Apple, please leave us a 5-star review. Just put a little sentence on there. It helps us out so much with getting our podcast out there to other people. And we hope you enjoy this podcast.
Thank you.
Archer and the Devil.
Welcome to Archer and the Devil, episode 17. All right.
Sorry, we're in a different place.
We are in a different place. It's all new.
Miles away.
Everything's different.
This is not full time though.
It's not.
We are in a undisclosed
Secret location.
Just off the M40 near Beaconsfield.
Well, you're just giving away the...
It's a Top Gear joke. That's the whole point.
Where's that button with a wah, wah, wah?
That's what they say. We're in a top secret
It is.
location based near so and so and so and so.
Well, there you go. How you doing?
I'm good.
Enjoying your snacks. If anyone's listening, if you're watching, it's not as bad because you can see what you're doing. If you're listening, it's just in the background.
I've just had a Yorkie bar and I've not had one for like ever, and it's pretty nice.
Is it?
It's just chocolate, which I don't really know why it's so nice or why it's called a Yorkie. It's just literally.
Isn't there nuts in there or something?
No, it's just a big chunk of chocolate.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, we are here because we have obviously. We filmed a few with guests. It's been a bit new. This is our first one since...
End of August. Well, it went out on the 2nd of September, episode 16 did.
And this is the first one since then that we haven't done with someone else.
With a guest, yeah.
And I'm still talking like we're in question mode rather than we're in...
yeah.
Just like...
We've done Jared Deandra on the phone.
Yes.
And then we did Pritchard and the Monster Girls.
Yes.
In this very room.
We did, yes.
And then Nick Hamilton.
Yes, but that one hasn't come out yet, and we haven't done that one yet. So we're talking about that in the Nedka podcast. So let's not talk about that.
We haven't done that.
That one's not been done yet.
We're going to do
Nick Hamilton and another special guest, a man called Andy.
Guest. Well, I was gonna keep that as a special guest. So you're just giving it away, but it could be any Andy. Could be
just Andy. Just Andy on the podcast.
Just Andy.
What? How long ago is it since you last done one? Just me and you.
6 weeks.
Is it really that long?
It's really that long.
So that was, where are we now? October. So what was that, the beginning of August?
End of August, honestly. I literally just said to you, it came out on the 2nd of September.
Yeah, but I don't listen.
Well, pay attention.
When was it? September?
It came out on the 2nd of September, so I'm assuming we've probably did it
in August.
At the end of August.
Okay.
Yes.
So...
That was the one with old Bobby on the mic, which again...
Oh, yes, with the new equipment.
He's back on the mic. That is just Rob doing that.
That wasn't even a sound effect, that was just Rob.
The sound effect board is too far away from him, so you haven't got to worry about any background.
How are you, Rob?
I'm all right, thank you. Are you?
What's it like to be back on the podcast?
It's very nice.
How'd you like the new room?
I think we've had a good day today. I'm enjoying myself.
The temporary new room.
Have you? Do you feel like we could move in with all your gear?
Well,
or do you
we
prefer it
need
back
to.
in the kitchen?
It takes ages, doesn't it, to set it all up and everything. So
it takes you ages.
if I've learnt something new today, it's about foot washing.
Whoa, we're not going
no,
stuff that we haven't talked about.
No, but that's all we need to know. So if
you haven't
listened to our podcast,
done it yet.
No, but if you're going to listen to our podcasts and you're interested in washing feet.
The podcast that we have done.
If you're here because you've watched Pritchard and gone, those guys are all right. Can you put your... Can you...
Sorry.
Can you not?
Sorry. I forgot we don't get filmed very often and I forget. Anyway, so I'll just listen to you talk shit while scrolling.
We're all business now, all right?
Sorry.
As I'm saying as well, if you're new to us, you're there just on your phone.
I was setting a timer so I know how long we're talking shit for.
No,
sorry.
you weren't. You're looking at news.
Sorry.
If you're here because you discovered us through a different guest
podcast,
welcome. He is Archer.
He is the devil.
and behind that you can't see
Producer Rob.
is producer Rob.
Hello.
But just go back and listen to the previous podcast and that'll explain.
Not the first one. The first one still got the most hits, and it's like, well,
The first one's the best one.
that's the worst one. I
Was
was
it the first
I was so nervous on the first one.
I've just seen you trying to do an introduction. I'm pretty sure that's still the case. Shit.
I don't like addressing the camera. I think that's my
Trying to
issue.
take Tommy over here.
And,
Jesus God.
The first time we did it, the first podcast we did, which was back in February, it was the first week of Feb, and I was petrified of the camera.
That was on camera, wasn't it? And we had a few weeks off, and then
I think we did the first 6 on camera, and then Rob decided to go fucking
Disappear.
rogue on us.
Yeah.
Piece
Well,
of
we got
shit.
bored, didn't he? No,
He got
Corona
bored.
hit, didn't it? The old C word.
Well, that's it. Yeah, Corona happened,
So we all had to stop, and
and now we're back.
we're back.
We're back and improved.
I think we improved. I think we sound better. I think
I'm way more. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm
you've
just
still got your hair all
comfortable
over
with
your face, and no one can see you.
it. I'm really pretty as well. Like,
You know what I mean?
people
Well,
do need to see.
But yeah, how are you, Rob? How was your last 6 weeks been?
Awesome. I've had a chest infection. Would you like to know all about
You
it?
thought you had Corona, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I've had a
Got
test.
tested.
I've had steroids
Did
and
you
everything.
self-test?
Yeah, I did self-test at home. I wish there was a video.
How'd you gag reflex?
My gag reflex.
Man, I wish I'd have
if,
known.
If I'd have videoed that,
wish
you
you'd have FaceTimed
would
me.
have died laughing. I was like,
I FaceTime you cutting my own hair, and you didn't have the respect.
He could never suck a dick.
no, good.
And you didn't have the respect to FaceTime me back when he was
Oh,
doing the Corona test.
mate.
Why did
Honestly,
you
I
FaceTime
felt
when you cut
so
your hair?
rough.
Because it was funny.
Yeah.
What? Cutting your hair is funny.
You do your tonsils first, then your nostrils. And I'm like, got one side, I was all right with the one side. Then the second side, I was like, and I was nearly spewing. I had fucking tears rolling down my eyes,
If you
the
get
face and everything.
spewing,
And then you get that out and put it in your nose
put it in your bum.
until you feel pressure. And I like straight away had a nosebleed.
Oh my God.
Best day of my life.
But you came back COVID-free.
Yeah, but then I had to have steroids because I still couldn't breathe.
Now he's massive.
Now it's hedged
Now
as
I'm fatter than I was
fuck.
before. Apparently, steroids make you put weight on.
Yeah, because they're water retention, I think.
Oh, that's what it is.
So stop drinking water.
Full of water, not
I
fat.
thought-
Stop drinking water
I
for
thought
3
you-
weeks,
I
and you'll
thought
be
you'd been
fine.
lifting.
No, he's just fat.
Do you even lift, bro?
No, bro, it's just steroids.
Nah, bro. just the roids. At least if someone says to you, "Oh, you look a bit bigger," I was like, "Yeah, I'm on steroids."
Yeah, it's water retention.
Yeah, I've got big bones.
Big bones.
In the meantime, Rob's gag reflex aside, we have done our second and guest with
And
Pritchard
guest,
and
yeah.
the girls. And I think we should probably talk about it a little bit. As a little bit of BTS, as the kids like to say, behind the scenes.
I don't like behind the scenes.
Why?
You know what? I don't mind behind the scenes. I don't like when people say sneak peek.
A little sneak peek.
I hate that.
Do you know what phrase I hate? A shoe-in. I fucking hate that phrase.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, that's a shoe-in.
But
What does that even mean?
You like a shoe in the door so you can't close the door?
How is that a good thing?
Is that your phone?
Maybe.
I'm going to throw you outside.
How is that a good
mine's
thing?
over there on charge.
How is that a shoe in the door so you can't escape? A good thing.
But no, I'm saying that's what the reference
I'm
is.
going to burgle you.
Well,
It's
no,
a good
'cause,
idea.
Like, did you get recognized got the job? I'm a shoe in.
It's so fucking annoying.
It is annoying, but it's not as annoying as sneak peek.
What?
Because no one gives a fuck at the thing you're sneak peeking.
Well, I hope they do, because we tease the shit out of our podcast and give people a sneak peek.
Yeah, but we don't sneak peek it. We
Clickbait it.
we
It's
promo
very
it.
different. Sorry, promo it.
We promo it.
Sorry, that's the right
There's a
word.
difference
Promo.
between promo and
Clickbait's bad, isn't it?
it's like sneak peek at my exclusive fucking hair range next week. No one's buying it. No one cares.
I'd buy your hair range.
I haven't got a hair range.
Rob wouldn't, but I would.
Depends what my range
I mean, he might
was.
do if he supports his mates.
What if
You
it was
know
like
what I
a range of rubbing shit on your head and you can all of a sudden...
Serious, if it made my hair grow, I'd
Is that how you're going to
buy
sell
anything.
it?
Would you?
I've got a new range of rubbing shit into your head. Is that
makes-
this is why Rob's got a media company and you haven't? Jesus Christ.
Executes the follicles. Executes? No, that's not the word.
Exfoliates.
Exfoliates the follicles.
still the wrong
Thank
word.
you, Bob. Well, pick a word.
Just let's not stop talking about
All
Rob's
right, then.
bald head. Let's go back to the matter in fucking hand of how did you find... So let's explain this. So normally we do a podcast and it's me and you
In your kitchen.
in the kitchen with Rob
This is
sometimes and the dog.
Sometimes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's our little bubble. We've got our table. We've got our sides. We do what we need to do. We do it. That's it.
Yeah.
This time, because it was also our first corporate gig as well. Realistically,
We've gone big time. We
for
sold
a big,
out.
for a big
We went
for a
big
big
time.
company.
Yeah.
Because it was a Monster Energy.
It was Monster.
For them for their new TV show.
Yep.
So we had to do it for first time. You might not know this, but I don't prepare for podcasts. So
No one knew that.
no. So this time we had to prepare. So we had to do research. We had to figure shit out. Sonny had to learn about Rallycross a little bit. And I had to do a spreadsheet which broke down the podcast into sections of time and of what we was going to say during them sections, which the minute we sat down, I completely forgot what any of it was and didn't even set a timer to know how long we'd been talking for. But I had to get all that pre-approved by Monster, and it had to go through all this big processing situation and all this shit. And then when they turned up, and then we was like, oh, there was other people here, and there was like an audience.
We had a room full.
It was busy.
They were all
busy.
socially distancing, just FYI.
It was all a big. It was all a big
Production
difference.
Yeah.
To what we're used to. It's just me, you, and the dog clanging a water bowl, and there was like an audience, and we got this big room, and we got guests. We'd never had guests before.
Never had guests before.
Even when we done Jared on the phone, it was still in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was all a bit mental. But
Yeah, we were in our comfort zone. And Jared kind of carried that one. If you haven't listened to the Jared one.
fuck me, yeah. Jared was the man.
It's phenomenal. It's very inspiring. Got a good story. I was nervous more than anything else that it was interesting. The Pritchard thing didn't really faze me.
You wasn't fanboying?
No, because I was never particularly a massive Dirty Sanchez fan. Like, I liked it, I watched it, it was good, but I loved Jackass. Like, if that was Johnny Knoxville,
Different story.
different story
Are
completely.
you doing a list, Bob, of what we're talking about?
No, not today.
He's looking at
What?
nudes.
Well, that's what we do. So you can do it for the introduction. Stop put down grinder and pay attention.
That is a sneak peek of what happens. That's a behind the scenes.
Rob used to care.
Rob used to write down a list of everything we talk about,
I tell you.
and then WhatsApp us at the end so we can
do shit with it.
And
Anyway, so Johnny Knoxville.
Drive 120 miles to get to a place and then get abused all the time. That's what happens.
don't forget, you are replaceable.
You are replaceable.
Yeah.
It's not called Archer and the Devil and Bob.
No. It is a bit, though.
It is.
Ask the audience.
It is now you've got a microphone.
Now you've got a
Oh,
microphone.
yeah.
Now you've got a voice. You are like a game show host over there. You know, on like the Tonight Show, there's always a guy. Anyway,
The Tourette Show.
The Tonight Show.
Oh,
What's the Tourette Show?
I don't know, but I'd watch
Just a
it.
lot of people getting fucking
I'd watch that.
arse.
If everybody had Tourette's, but they had to answer questions,
Yeah.
that would be a quality game show.
But you guarantee it wouldn't tick the entire time they were on there. It would just be a really straight
Oh,
show.
no, they would.
As soon as the camera stopped, fuck. But anyway, yes, I think had it been like Johnny Knoxville or something like that, I probably would have fangirled a bit more. But because with Pritchard, it was more wanting to make sure, and the Monster Girls as well, give them the platform, ask the right questions. You know what I mean? So it was engaging for people who watched.
It was very different, weren't it? Very
was.
different to what we used to. We normally telling fucking prostitute stories in Vegas and whatnot, and we went from that to being like, shit, we need to like actually ask questions and
the amazing thing
interview
was
people and
that
stuff.
everyone thought we were really professional.
Oh no, yeah, that was madness. They all
I
walked
know.
in and seen all Rob's gear and was like, wow, these guys know what they're doing.
It is. To be
Then
fair,
we started talking and they soon found us out.
T1 Media do a great job.
T1media.co.uk
They do a great job.
for all your media needs.
T1 Media.
I like that. That should be your jingle. If it's not,
For all
make
inquiries,
it.
please
Make it.
email t1@t1@rob.co.uk. May or may not be the correct email address.
No, it's probably not.
No. But no,
How did you find it?
At the time, I was a little bit nervous.
You were a bit more skittish than I expected you to be.
I was a bit nervous because you wasn't that clued up on it and stuff. I kind of felt like I
There's a
needed
lot
to
of pressure
carry
on
it a
you.
little bit.
There was. No, I'll admit that. And not only that, but you knew the people.
And I knew the people. I'd been around Monster and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and I wanted to make a good impression. And it was that. And I do afterwards. I did feel like it was. I felt personally like it was the worst podcast that I've done, and we've done some fucking shockers. And I
It's
was
never been a bad podcast. If you're new to this,
And I was like, oh yeah, that's true.
They're all gold.
But I thought that because I in my head it wasn't us.
Yeah.
It wasn't our podcast. You know
I think
what
that
I
was
mean?
one thing we said afterwards was like we managed to put ourselves across. I feel like because we didn't want it to be a straight interview because it's not an interview, it's a fucking podcast.
It's not the Jonathan Ross show where they just talk about the film that they've got to sell.
Right,
Or the
it
book
wasn't
that they've
just
written.
and like we obviously had to use that platform to plug Aftertrack TV.
Don't care anymore. Move on.
Move on. But yeah, we didn't want it just to be a straight. So how do you feel about this? Which car's your favorite
Question
car?
answer. Answer. Yeah.
So,
but no, and then I listened to it back, and I think it was really good. I think we've done a good job considering we don't really know what we're doing.
I think you enjoyed it more than I did.
Do you think? Why?
I enjoyed it, but I think our podcasts are better.
Just in general.
Yeah.
What, without a guest?
No, like that one.
I mean, it was our first one.
Yeah, it was our first one. That's what I'm saying.
Well, technically it wasn't. It was the second one with guests.
Well, no,
but
it was the first proper one with
it
guests.
was the first time we was out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Definitely. But
I think it's different as well when you're in a room with someone because you're feeding off their energy. Like in the future when we do Nick, I think one thing he will say is that he feeds really well off us.
we're not very good at this bullshit.
Really
We're
not.
really bad liars. Aren't
Do you
we?
know, I'm feeling that that's possibly the case. Can you
Right.
can you see it in the future?
Let's
Yeah.
be transparent. We've done 2 more podcasts
Two
today
more
before
podcasts.
this one in this room with Nick Hamilton and Andy Harris, but we're trying to talk about that in the next podcast that we're going to do after this one.
Yeah. Can I? Oh no, I'm not.
So go
gonna-
and listen to them all in relevant of order.
in order.
If you haven't listened to the Pritchard one, go and listen to that one.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to the Nick one yet, because we haven't put it out yet, listen to it when it comes out.
My favourite podcast of ours is still, I think, 3, 4, and 5.
I can't remember any of them.
The calendar one. I love
Calendar?
that one.
The
Yeah,
Mayan
when I was
calendar.
When I was talking about calendars.
Oh, yeah, that's why I
and-
don't remember it because
And the one about time travel and stuff like that. I loved that. That was mainly I carried that one.
Yeah, that's because you knew what you was
It was all
talking
me.
about.
It
I
was
was
all
just
me.
like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
But we learned things.
Can we, if somebody's listening that knows somebody that like, I've got really itchy here. If somebody knows somebody that's like not into time travel, because if somebody that's more intelligent about it than me me, then
Get them
feel
on.
free.
Let them on.
Rob, I think there's someone at the door. Feel free to the door. They just tried the door. I don't know if it's someone else, but if can you just tell them to like point out, like come our way, please? Because
Didn't you order a pizza about an hour ago?
no, he's at that pizza a long time ago.
Did that pizza come and go?
Yeah, didn't you smell it?
Pizza was in this room and I did not know about it.
No.
I'm genuinely upset.
Oh, there's no one there. The door. To lock that door. I don't want someone coming in and stealing me.
Stealing you?
You know what I mean? Imagine
Not really.
they ran away with me. What would you do then? It'd just be the devil.
Just be the devil and Bob.
That'd be a shit podcast.
It would.
But yeah, no, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. I do think this is what we always envisaged
Envisioned.
No.
Envisioned?
No. Envisaged.
That's not a word.
Rob, Google it. It's envisaged.
It's not a word.
Yes, it
It's
is.
not a word.
Hey Siri, what does envisaged mean?
Lazy bastard.
Envisage means contemplate or conceive of as a possibility or a desirable future event.
So, screw you. I was correct.
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
So what I envision, I can't even fucking say it now.
It
What
still sounds like the wrong word.
envisaged the podcast to be was
Still sounds like
this,
the wrong word.
was the guests,
Yeah.
was a guest orientated show. Us putting our spin on it, talking to people. Obviously the C word put a hold on that, and also the equipment that we had put a hold on that. But I think going forward, I think this is more what we want it to be. I think it's more of a what we're good at. We're just good at talking to people and talking at people and listening to people and all that cool shit. And I think it's
We're better at listening to people than I thought we were going to be. I'm not going to lie. Haven't done a few of these now. But
Jared
yes.
one, not so much.
No, I think
I
Jared
really
one.
had to tell myself to stop talking during when we was talking to
But
Jared.
the fact that you did have to have the common awareness.
Mm.
I was going to say common sense, but I changed it. The awareness to edit yourself. Because I've done it. I've gone to interrupt. I noticed watching back on the Pritchard one, there's loads of times where I want to jump in, and probably a couple of times I probably shouldn't have. But I did.
Finish the sentence.
I got excited. So
yeah, but
I'm quite rude. And I've got a louder voice than most people.
is it rude?
No. Fuck them.
It's only rude if they're mid-sentence.
Yeah, no. Like, if anything, it was kind of like almost of a agreement to perpetuate the narrative. It was like, I know what you want about because this, and carry on.
Yeah, that's
know what
it.
I mean?
Yeah, just so they don't have to explain it so much and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we're pros now, aren't we? So it's kind of
we're fucking ballers in this shit now.
genuinely.
We're just straight gangsters, straight podcast gangsters. Joe Rogan, we're coming for you.
He's getting loads of shit at the minute.
What?
Have you seen that they've pulled a few episodes? Because Spotify put all these episodes up and they took off some of the controversial people on there.
Like who?
That Miles Yiannopoulos, I said his name completely wrong. Milo? Do you know who I'm on about, Rob? He's on grind still. Alex Jones, the dude who was in the Proud Boys. So they didn't. When they uploaded all of them, they didn't put
To Spotify.
Yeah. They didn't put
I didn't know his whole back catalogue was on there.
Yeah, they put
I didn't know
everything
that
on
was a
there
thing.
because I think from December 1st or something, everything's exclusively on there, apart from the clips, and they missed some of them out. And they said it was just an algorithm thing. We'll fix it, but it just happened to be only controversial people. So all Joe Rogan fans were kicking off about it, and apparently there's a whole thing within. Because there was one thing, there was the forest fires that were happening all over the West Coast. He said on one of the podcasts that it was started by Democratic people or liberal people or whatever it was, and it was man-made, and they had to put a thing on the podcast to say this has fake news or whatever on there.
Really?
Yeah. And then he had to actually say on the next podcast or a couple of podcasts after, like, that didn't happen, I was wrong.
So he was serious. He didn't say it as a joke.
No. He thought he read it or heard it, so he said it as information.
Oh, I see. I'm with you.
Because it was wrong. But how many times have we done that? You know what I mean? How many times does anyone do that in regular conversation where they say something because they think something, and then after they find out, go, "Oh, I was wrong." But I guess the problem with doing it on a podcast is that it's recorded. And
a podcast that big as well.
Yeah. And apparently there's people who work for Spotify who don't want him there, and have basically tried to speak out against. They want notifications up if he says something wrong.
Right.
So there's this is incorrect, and then carries on.
What?
And it's like a whole thing. And now he's kind of like come out in his own defense a couple of times about it and said, this is bullshit. So we'll see how that goes, because obviously they've given him fucking $100 million.
Well, they've signed the contract. It's a done deal,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So,
And I'm sure when he went in and signed the contract, he would have said, I'm doing my podcast how I've
It is
always
what it
done my
is.
podcast.
Yeah.
But apparently people who work for Spotify aren't too happy about it. He has become more controversial, I think, the last couple of years, but last year especially.
Because he's got a bigger platform, do you think?
I think
Or
because
just his views have changed.
I don't think so much his views have changed. I think he panders to people a bit. So
Right.
his opinion will change depending on who's in the room.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if he's left-leaning to a left-leaning person, and then who'll hard-right into a hard-right person.
Jonathan Ross does that on his chat show. Whoever's the guest that week, you're my favourite movie star. It's the best book I've ever read.
And for me, it's like if you don't agree with something, either challenge them or just flat out be like, I don't agree with you. Whereas go, yeah, I see what you mean. But it's like if I interviewed Donald Trump and he was like, blah, 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 whatever racist, sexist shit comes out of his mouth, I'd be like, actually, you're a piece of shit. Probably not like that, because if he's in front of me, I mean, I would with Donald Trump. But
you would 100% call him out to his face.
I really would.
Stop being a brick.
Yeah. But if it was somebody else who had an adverse opinion to something, like we do it to each other, you know what I mean? And I think the problem he has is he kind of agrees politely, rather, because he had the guy who had, Jack from Twitter. Jack's the guy, he's the Tom from MySpace, the Zuckerberg from Facebook.
The guy who owns it, the words you're looking for.
Yeah.
The owner.
Just the comparison. Yeah, but he created it and everything, and he went on there, and he had to bring him on again about 2 weeks after, because everyone gave him shit. So, like, you didn't ask him all of these questions.
That was right, yeah, because it was about, like, what are you doing to stop this on Twitter, and what are you doing to stop that on Twitter, and because he didn't ask that, everyone lost their shit.
Yeah, they're like, you gave him an easy ride, so he's like, cool, I'll bring him back in. And then I think he brought 2 people with him. Or he brought one, and Tim Cook was there, who's an absolute piece of shit. If you listen to Tim Cook, he's a piece of shit. Side note. And addressed them that time.
Who the fuck's Tim Cook?
Just a piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
You know who, like, Jordan Peterson is?
No.
Good. Don't. He's a piece of shit also.
Who are all these people?
Pieces of shit.
And what do they do?
Use their self-created platform to incite division and hatred in people.
So why did he take one of them guys with him?
I think he didn't. He requested if he can come on, And he's been on Joe Rogan a few times now. So Joe was like, yeah, cool, come on.
With the guy from Twitter.
There was a Twitter guy, there was a woman from Twitter, and then this Tim Cook guy.
So he was the devil's advocate guy. You've done this, answer this. You've done that, answer that.
But purely on an agenda.
I'm with you.
Because he's very right wing. So he wasn't saying, why do you do this to everyone? It was just, why do these people suffer? But he portrays himself as being undetermined. Yeah. But he's not. And that's a lot. I mean, I think a lot of left wing people flat out just be like left wing has been like lefty is an insult now, which I don't understand because all left.
I don't really understand even what it means.
The left side just means you're a bit more liberal and open minded, so you might have a more relaxed view on borders and immigration.
Yeah, but who decided that was the left side? The left side
just,
of what?
But it's just that's just the terminology for it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just that's how you define it. So if you're left wing or right wing, I guess it's two wings of the same bird essentially.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Using the metaphor, but it's
so if you're like the right wing Nazis, that is bad.
But you don't get left wing Nazis.
No, but I'm saying like they're they're never called left wing Nazis. They're always the right wing.
It's because all right wingers you have a bit more of a conservative viewpoint, so you may not be as not lapse the wrong word, but like as relaxed on immigration because you might say, well, no, look after the people here first. Why are these people coming over? So you have more hardline views. And look after, I guess I mean, I'm not saying one's right or wrong. It depends on the scenario.
It's just a way to describe your beliefs.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So like Antifa, for example, who are anti-fascist, they're hard left. So they're probably a bit too left. So they're the equivalent.
So they're almost right. They're that far left that they're almost right.
I mean, in a sense, yes, to a degree, but
because they're like they're forcing their opinion on you in that sense, regardless of the opinion. The fact that they're the way they do it, is very right wing in the way they do it. Yeah. It's just that their opinion, be nice to people or we will riot. Yeah, that sort. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So it's like the sentiment's there. Yeah. But they do it in a right wing way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, okay.
So I think that's a good way of putting it. So I think it is kind of like it's just our way or the highway kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I think if you're hard anything, you're not looking at it objectively, because I'm sure I have a few right wing views. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I know I lean more left, and it's weird because there's a big conception of like the older you get, apparently the more conservative you become, the more right wing you become.
You give more fucks.
Give more fucks. It's almost like you become more cynical and start looking more locally and stuff like that. And there's a apparent thing, which is like that's the thing. Like the older you get, the more right you get. I think by this age, I know I won't. Maybe 20 years we'll be doing Out for the Devil, and I'll be like, yeah, fuck those immigrants. I don't see it happening. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think I'm ever going to be that kind of person.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Never say
but
never.
No, so so Joe Rogan at the minute is getting a lot of shit for that. So
don't listen to him. He's a bastard.
There's a gap in the market.
Yeah. Don't listen to him, he's a bastard. Give him a thumbs down on all his YouTube videos.
Unless he wants to come on and defend himself.
And don't subscribe to Spotify. We don't want him on here.
No, but seriously, if you want to come on Joe Rogan, I'm cool with that.
Don't do it. No one likes him.
Did you see Donald Trump asked him to be the adjudicator for their debate?
No.
He requested Joe Rogan be the person who... What's the word, Rob? Who's the person who sits in the chair?
The referee.
No, it's because it's not a fight.
The adjudicator.
Is that what I said? Is that the word I said? Okay, cool. I was right. For the Biden-Trump debate, but he said no. I think Joe Biden said no as well. But the fact that Trump wants him there says a lot. You know what I mean?
Do you think? What, in terms of that's what he believes his beliefs are?
Well,
doesn't he fucking hate Trump?
He says he's outright not going to vote for Trump, but then he said he was not going to vote for Biden. I think he's going to vote for an independent.
He's slated Biden as well, big time, saying he's got a mental illness.
Right, he keeps saying he's saying it's degenerative because of his age.
Yeah, but again, that you get to that point, like, and it's the same with Facebook and stuff like that, and with the fake news and stuff like that. Like, if you necessarily don't have an opinion, and then you listen to Joe Rogan as you would normally, getting on with your daily life as you've always have done for years, and all of a sudden, every now and then, he just drops in, "Fuck Biden, he's got a fucking brain disease or whatever."
Yeah.
At some point, that's going to start sinking in.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well people who don't do their own research.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and then the same again. If you think, "Oh, fucking Trump's a piece of shit, you shouldn't do this, he's this, that, and the other," unless you are completely 100%.
Yeah.
the same for both.
Yeah.
Because of the size of his platform, because of the size of his audience, that's a big responsibility.
No, it's huge.
It's a huge responsibility.
But that's what I mean. We've had this conversation about Elon Musk before as well. I just think if you have a platform, use it responsibly, especially if you have an influence over that many people's opinions, and you know people value and respect your opinion.
But also, people have agendas.
100%.
You know what I mean? People have different agendas that they don't always make obvious.
Well, there's a huge thing like in this country now where by the 1st of January it looks like we're going into no deal Brexit. The whole election was one on the back of him saying it's oven ready. Which at one point he went, "It's oven ready, just throw it in the microwave." And I'm like, "You're that much of a fucking idiot." Like no one's telling you. This is literally just you. But he won that election on the back of that slogan.
You can imagine his PR team going,
honestly, just yeah.
Sake, you had one job.
Like literally.
We came up with oven ready to appeal to everyone. And you've said fucking microwave.
Yeah. Or he's playing up to that. People will talk about it now. Because did you hear he said that? Oh, though he means it's ready though, right? So you know what I mean? It could be that subliminal. It gets the conversation started, and then people go, "Well, maybe they have got it right." Just because he's an idiot, they might have worked it out. But that was his whole thing on the back of the election last year, which was Brexit. He even said like no deal would be the worst outcome for anyone, and now he's like, yeah, it looks like we're going to no deal.
I seen something on the I think it was on the paper yesterday. I went to the Chinese. That's the only time I read the newspaper, when it's on the counter in the Chinese, and they were saying that they're getting ready for. You remember when all the trucks blocked the M20 getting down to Dover? And there was like 3-day tailbacks, and there's like secret plans to put portaloos on the hard shoulder, and they're preparing an area for 2,000 trucks to park just off the motorway, so it doesn't block all the local towns and cities and all that, because everyone was just parked everywhere because they were sat on the motorway for like 3 days. Yeah. And there's secret plans for this and the secret plans for that, but again, it was in the front of the sun, so who fucking knows? Who knows? This has got very political very fast again.
It has. My favourite thing at the minute is, have you seen those pictures where people say, this is the future the Liberals want?
No.
And there'll be an image of something. So I saw one. It was a man in drag next to a Muslim in full burqa on the subway. And they were like, this is the future Liberals want. I'm like, but that picture was taken now. Like, that's
literally now.
Not the future.
That's now.
That was just taken.
Yeah.
And there was another one. It's like, this is the future socialist one. And it was this huge condo development thing, like these huge resorts next to shacks. There's like literally like a road between them, right? And one of them is just huge, expensive luxury housing next to poverty. And it's like, this is the future socialist one. It's like, but that's a real photo.
Yeah. You've not made that up.
That was taken to
prove this point.
Like, so if that's the current present,
you're proving a point by proving a point by using the point that's currently being proven. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
There's a lot of stupid people in this world. The thing I'm realising, right, I've really got into history recently.
Mm-hmm.
Just randomly got into samurais was my jump point. No, it was, right, I watched Dracula because I wanted some spoopiness.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Spoopiness.
Have you ever heard that word, Rob? Spoopy.
Spoopy.
Yeah, that was my reaction. It's not even a real word.
I put a picture up at the start of October saying it's the spoopy time of the year or something like that. And Jake messaged me saying, did you mean spooky? I was like, no.
No,
and he was like, no, you're doubling down now because you spelt it wrong.
Hey Siri.
Hey Apple, can you sponsor us?
What does spoopy mean?
This is an informal term, sinister or ghostly, in a way that causes fear and unease.
Wait, did that
Would
actually...
you like to hear the remaining one?
Does it actually say spoopy or spooky?
Spooky.
See that?
That's his fault. Type it in there and see what it says.
I still think you spelt it wrong and just went,
no,
just to save face, you just ran with it.
Spoopy's a thing.
Spoopy's not a thing. It's never been a thing.
It's
Snoopy has been a thing and Spooky has been a thing, but never Spoopy.
Spoopy's like...
Nothing. It's just made up nonsense.
Anyway, so because it's Halloween season, I started watching...
Sorry. Spoopy is in slang dictionary.
And what does it say?
Spoopy is an internet slang term used to describe something that is spooky, but in a comical or cute way, such as a puppy in a ghost costume or a goofy Halloween video.
Spoopy. Right, so it's spoopy season.
Nobody fucking at me with the word spoopy.
It's funny though,
I'll
'cause,
burn your house
the
down.
reason is like a lot of my like
I won't. That's a lie.
most of
I
my
love
best
you all.
mates girls, and they say spoopy a lot, and I think it just rubbed off on me because every dude I say it around, I was like, don't say spoopy.
Literally never heard that word in my life.
I've only ever heard it said from girls, and now me.
Reminds me
Genuinely-
of poopy.
Exactly. Genuinely thought it was a spell.
A typo? No, it's not. But yeah, so I watched Dracula, the 1991 film with Gary Oldman. And then I was just curious about Vlad the Impaler. So, because I went to Romania last year, went to his castle, Bran Castle, and stuff like that. And I remember reading up a bit then. It was like, I'd forgotten most of it. So I watched this documentary, this biography thing on him. And then I found this channel with loads of biographies. So literally I was there till like 3 a.m. just watching. They're only like 20 minutes long. So I'm watching these 20-minute biographies on all these people and just got so invested in it. And then just started reading up about like samurais and Vikings and like...
Are they not all effectively they're like the extremists of their time?
No, 'cause some of them were kind of like what you would consider just to be Marines or soldiers now.
Right.
So it depends on which one you're on about. So Vikings, for example, used to literally raid villages and then say, we'll stop raiding you if you pay us a tax every month. And they're like, okay. And if they ever got a little bit less, we're like, well, we're going to come and raid you again. And that's how they made money.
Right.
It was just the threat of not punching people. If you pay me money every day, I'm not going to hit you.
Okay. So the Vikings were bullies.
They were bullies.
We figured that out.
Samurais were... They've been painted a really weird way, just off my research modernly, because there's a huge thing with honor about them. I didn't realize, you know, they have 2 samurai swords. You know, they always have 2. There's a big one and a small one.
I didn't know that, but no.
The reason they have the small one is so it's pure, well, it's
Midgets.
essentially for suicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if they're dishonored in any way, they have to stab themselves in the stomach, cut across, and bleed out. That's why they have the smaller one.
And what's classed as dishonored?
If they've done something dishonorable.
What are you laughing
Midgets.
Midget samurais. Actually, that was funny. I was just pretty much skating over that.
at? Small people, small swords. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's a good argument. It's a good logical way of thinking about it.
You asked the question. I gave you my answer. I don't know.
But why would they have 2 swords?
One big one, the big one for big people, and the small
But
one
they
for
both
midgets.
carry the same sword. They both carry, but one person carries 2 swords.
Yeah. So if the samurai sees a big person, he uses the big sword. If he sees a midget, he uses the little sword.
So the one samurai used it to fight small people.
Yeah. If the samurai's
For a
fighting
fair,
big
because it's
people.
honourable to have a fair fight.
Yeah. Exactly. If the samurai sees like me or you, he's going to use his full size sword.
Well, yeah, we're tall people.
If he fights like a midget,
Fights Rob.
you know what I mean? He's going to use his little sword. He's not going to take the piss.
What's,
He's going to be like,
what's
you know,
officially a midget? How tall is it?
we've
Is it
had
like,
this conversation.
is it like
haven't we?
4'10"?
No, have we not had this
Hey
conversation?
Siri,
Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm asking you ready to ever again.
what is the official measurement for a midget?
Measurement? Height?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the official measurement for a midget. Check it out.
I don't think you can use the word midget. What was your Siri Irish?
What is your...
I like Irish accents.
Mine's an American woman.
It goes on about dwarfism and stuff, and I don't think it's appropriate. So should we move on?
I can't remember the
Fuck me.
official term that you have to use.
Little
now.
people.
Is it right?
It's little people.
No, I don't think you can say dwarf, but I think you can say midget.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought you can't
I
say
don't think you
midget,
can
but you
say
can say
midget.
dwarf.
Being as we've only said it like 400
17
times.
But it's little people, I think. I'm pretty sure it's...
I don't think that's the official
The
term.
tiny ones.
They're not tiny ones. I think they're just little people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How tall are you?
midget size.
Apparently 5'10".
Why apparently?
Because I always thought I was 5'9", and then my friend measured me, and I'm 5'10". I was really chuffed.
Why did your friend measure you?
Because when I was on the dating apps and stuff, I put
Oh,
5'9", and she was like, "If you put that, nobody will ever want to go out with you because she's small anyway."
Yeah, I've got female friends who've been on lots of dates with guys who say they're 5'10" and then or 6 foot. 6 foot to 1.
Yeah.
Like everyone says they're 6 foot, and then they'll meet them and they'll be like, "You're like 4'5".
Yeah, I always wear big trainers.
It's weird because can you put your fucking phone away?
I'm finding out whether we can say midget or not.
Oh, okay.
Ask Siri.
No, because clearly Siri's shit.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I was saying, a lot of people do generally lie about their age. But yeah, so with samurais are fucking awesome. Like the more I've read about them, they're fucking cool. And I've just been really interested in history. And one thing I've realised in all of my research, go on.
Did you know the word midget is a bad word?
Oh.
I do apologise.
If any midgets out there,
Little people or dwarfs.
I told you it was little people. If any little people are listening, we apologize.
Oh wait, someone's put here dwarfs, little people, and the M word. Shit. My bad. So it's dwarf. We can't say the M word anymore.
Midget.
Can't say that anymore. You've got to bleep all them out with dolphin noises.
I'm not doing it. It takes too long.
We said it so
I
many
formally
times.
apologise.
I formally apologise.
I genuinely, I know I'm laughing.
There
But
is anyone that's a small person.
Or dwarf.
Yeah.
Please accept our apology. We was
didn't-
ignorant and we didn't know.
No, we didn't know.
We
but
didn't
we've
know.
now found out.
We've educated ourselves and
yeah.
we've moved on.
And the small sword was for something else totally different.
The small sword was still for suicide, which apparently is not any
Suicide.
better.
Which I actually feel like committing at the moment.
Let's move away from suicide.
Yeah.
But my
Dwarfs,
point
all
anyway
sorts.
was one thing I've found or discovered or realised through history. You know that thing where you always want to look at the best in people and you're always like, I think on the whole people are good.
Please think of the best of us.
I
We
don't.
are on whole good.
But I'm not saying us specifically. I'm saying as a species.
I am right now after that last 5 minutes.
Well, yeah. But I do think now, historically looking back, there isn't generally goodness as people. I think overall, historically,
Yeah, but you say that. Is that just because historical people are usually bad people?
I think the problem is that people think of present, and now's a great example of this, because people always say that's the best. Messi's the best footballer, or Ronaldo's the best footballer that there will ever be. But the sport's 120 years old. So you're saying, potentially, unless we all vanish from the planet, if that sport continues for another 1,000 years, no one's ever going to be better.
And also, wasn't Pele the best footballer in the world?
No.
Now it's Messi.
Well,
But previous generations,
people said Pele will be the best of all time, ever. And that's
Muhammad Ali was the best boxer
saying
of all time.
he's the best to this point is fine, but I think there is that, and I do it as well, have that perception of now being all that's relevant. You don't really think of that.
It's more of it is best of our generation, and
Yeah,
it's effectively.
but you
what
don't
the-
think of 10 years into the future. It's like when you ask people, like, where would you go if you could time travel to like 1977 or whatever? Like, we've existed for millions of years.
Who says
It's a
1977?
random. When would you travel to if you could?
The American gangster era. Is that the like?
So that was
40s,
1920s?
Why the fuck would you not go and see dinosaurs?
That's what I mean. Like,
No.
why would, of all the things in history,
I'd like to wear one of those like
Just wear
trilby
one
hats
now.
and that suit and.
But
be-
all that's been documented, and you've seen it all.
No, but I'd like to be there in that time
and do what?
with the like jazz clubs and all that kind of
But
stuff.
there's jazz clubs now.
Yeah, there are.
No, but it's not the same.
Go to a Peaky Blinders convention and you'll fit right in.
I don't want to go to that.
Live your best dreams.
You'd rather go and wear a trilby than go and see a fucking T-Rex. Is that what you're telling
Hey,
me?
it'd eat me. I'm ginger. I'm the first on the food chain.
Or should you just zap away again?
Yeah.
No, but if the three of us went back in time to dinosaurs,
That's an episode of a
what's
podcast
it go-
coming up in
who's
the
it going
future.
to eat first?
I mean-
Let's be realistic.
I mean, it's a T-Rex. It's above us. Probably me or him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to be
but-
fair, we're
but-
taller.
You know,
You could just hide under a rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've got long
I'm
hair.
bringing my
I
little
look
sword
like
and I don't give a shit.
But I look more like a caveman, so you'd be like, I think I know him. I'd be fine.
I think I know
Just
it.
on the technicality of it, it'd be like, I think that's Steve.
Is that Steve from the cave
from
down the road?
Down the road.
Or is that his brother? I think it's his brother. I think it's Steve's brother. He doesn't go around here very
So I'd be
often.
like, I'll leave him alone.
He's from the mountain over.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
mountain over.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So,
visiting Steve?
I'm
Hang on
gonna-
a minute. 1 minute. I'm just going to eat this ginger bastard.
There you go. And that's why you die first.
That was my impression of a T-Rex with his mouth
Because
full.
I
He wouldn't
look
be
more.
thirsty though, would he? Because
No.
like the water
All the
retention
water
and all that. Yeah.
That's amazing. But
Where would you go, dinosaurs?
No, I would go to Egypt.
the-
Ancient Egypt.
Not like now.
No. I could do that
That's an
now.
all-inclusive.
Get a flight. Yeah,
What,
no.
Cleopatra kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
All that, the
Yeah.
pharaohs and shit.
All pyramids and see
You know
how they were
what?
built.
I reckon, like you and Cleopatra,
Do you reckon?
She's a bit of a bitch, weren't she, Cleo?
good
bit of
like,
a savage
good
beast.
pair.
I mean, I'd take Cleopatra.
I think
Yeah.
she was a bit of a brute, from what I understand. She was a bit.
I
of
mean, she was a ruler of
that's what I'm saying.
this huge
You're
empire,
gonna be a bit shitty, aren't you?
and that empire lasted fucking
That's what I'm saying.
generations.
Would you go to see how the pyramids are built? So you'd go
Yeah.
like day one of the site, like
No,
when
no,
they're all
not day
walking around
one.
looking at the plans, pointing at shit. you know?
The blueprints. I'd go year 3.
How long was it?
Pyramids. I don't even know how they were built.
Wasn't
properly.
long.
Dude, that was like a fucking. That
No,
was
this is the big country.
Hey Siri,
Oh, the fuck. So
How long did it take to
You're
build
replaceable
the pyramid?
with Siri.
Here's an answer from Google.com. The pyramids of Giza were built 4,500 years ago during the 4th dynasty, Egypt's golden age. They took roughly 85 years to construct and were built.
There you go.
85 years.
So I go
You
year
could have been
5.
there in any time.
Fucking hell, that's
To
like
be fair, no, year 5, they're putting the foundations down still. So I'm going about 25 years in.
Year 5. Year 5, they're still digging the fucking hole, mate.
That's what
Let
I'm
alone
saying.
putting any blocks in.
They're
Did
digging
they
the
call them
foundations.
years in them days? Did they even know what they were?
They would have had a measurement of time, but I don't think it was they had a different calendar anyway.
If you believe the truth about the
truth.
pyramids,
Truth
they're
is out
all
there.
super skilled engineering that,
Yeah.
that humankind wasn't capable of then. So the aliens built them
Oh,
anyway.
the aliens.
So
You know what? Anytime brown people build something, they're like, aliens must have done it. Look around the world at anything. There's no answer for it. But brown people did it. Aliens.
that was aliens.
It's fucking,
Jesus Christ.
it's fucking true. Telling you.
The Egyptians are not brown people, are they?
Do you
They
know?
ain't white.
Do you know when you think of the aliens? Does anybody you think of like Raiders of the Lost Ark and that skull?
I haven't seen that
You
one.
know the glowing skulls,
And the crystal skull one.
the crystal
I haven't
skulls.
seen that one.
There's aliens in
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
That's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's
So
what I-
no.
Because you're like, why wasn't the brown people in it?
Why weren't the brown people in it? Yeah. Have you not seen that? Gods and something with fuck, who was in it? That film about Egypt. That had loads of people in it. Anyway, they all browned up for it. And didn't get Egyptian fucking actors. Just got some fucking that Joel Edgerton dude or whatever. He's in Warrior with Tom Hardy. He's in it with other people. Christian Bale might be in it actually.
And they browned up for it.
Tanned up for it.
Tanned up for it.
Tanned up for it.
I mean, they live in the desert. You know what I mean? It's maybe they are just tanned.
Is it like 300 where all the men had their six packs painted on?
No, they actually didn't they work out like. I think they
I
accentuated
watched
them.
that and like a lot of them did, like worked out.
Oh,
but there's
but
a
the guys
lot.
in the back.
There's a lot with it just
paint 'em on.
painted on.
Just paint them on, yeah. Like if you've got a talking line, if you've got a speaking line, you got to go and work out.
Am I blurry? Yeah, painting the horn on.
Yeah, paint them.
Yeah, it's water retention.
10 water retention.
Contour me up a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think I'd get dinosaurs.
All right. Which period? Do you know between I think
Monthly. What's yours?
Oh, regular.
but between the time period between Stegosaurus and T-Rex.
I don't fucking know that much.
Hear me out.
Jesus Christ.
I think the Stegosaurus and T-Rex and the time difference between T-Rex and us. That's a wider gap.
Wait, slow down. So
There's a wider gap between Stegosaurus existing.
they wasn't all around together?
No. Jurassic
Oh.
Park lied to you.
Oh. Okay, carry on.
Because there's different, like Jurassic period was quite. There's like the Crutacious.
Cretaceous.
That's why you're here. That period. There's loads of different ones.
I envisage that word.
And yeah, so Stegosaurus existed something like 120 million years before T-Rex did.
Why? What?
Yeah. And T-Rex existed 65 million years ago.
Really?
Yep.
You just ruined my childhood.
No,
So,
it didn't.
so another
Your childhood's fine,
dinosaur,
I've ruined you now.
another dinosaur came along sooner than what the human race did,
Yes.
effectively.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a Reader's Digest book about animals when I was a kid, and it was like, I don't know, 2 inches thick,
Just go in
a
that,
gold
watch 'em.
book, and it was all about animals. My favourite book. I probably was about 8.
Mm.
I loved dinosaurs. Right, I obviously didn't read it. I just looked at the pictures.
Oh, clearly. Because otherwise your childhood would be fine.
But I thought all dinosaurs
No.
were
Was
around
together?
at the same time
Same?
No, they all existed at
until
different periods.
about 3
17
minutes
seconds
ago.
Yeah. No,
And
they all existed at different times.
So, like, is it Diplodocus or Diplodocus?
Diplodocus.
Yeah. And Stegosaurus and all them. It was around at the same time.
I'm not. I haven't got the library on top of my head of
Get
dinosaur
up.
history.
Get up on your phone. Don't fucking Siri it.
Yeah.
Get up on your phone. Dinosaur timeline.
Yeah, and you know the Triceratops didn't exist. It's not real.
Shut up.
It's not real.
You are joking.
It's not. That actually did devastate me. Because you remember?
That's my favourite dinosaur, and it's not real.
It's not real.
I fucking hate you. I'm not doing this anymore. You keep fucking ruining everything.
Yeah, we have to stop now.
Sorry. So I also
How is a Triceratops not a real thing?
because they based. I didn't realize this until they found out it wasn't a real thing. They based the whole theory of the Triceratops off a bone that was about that big, right? And they went, we reckon this is what that dinosaur looked like, based on a bone or something like that. And then found out that another part of it was another animal that died next to it or something like that. If I'm wrong, keep it to yourself. But honestly, I'm pretty sure. Google that as well. You're all over the internet right now.
I hate you.
Don't hate me. Hate life and history and facts. I'm just reciting these things back to you.
You were right about that Cretaceous
I know I am.
period.
The only thing I was right about was how to say it. That was literally it.
So it started. This could be a long no. Before Tyrannosaurus, which was Cretaceous, there was the Jurassic. This is the MYA as years, Maya. Is that right? Yeah. Then we had the Triassic before that, which was Otis. I can't even pronounce it. It's just really small dinosaurs. And then there was the Mississippian, which were vertebrates.
Vertebrae, yeah.
Emerging onto land. That happened before. So they came out of the water.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that came about was about 120 million years ago.
Yeah, 360 Maya is what it was.
So that's a million years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, 360 million years ago they came out of the water.
And then 245 million years ago, they grew into little dinosaurs or changed. And then we had the quadruped dinosaurs, 4 legs. And then it ended up with Tyrannosaurus. And then we ended up 5 million years ago with chimpanzees. And then we ended up with humans 11,500 years ago.
Got Homo sapiens.
Wait,
there was
what?
5 different species of humans technically initially. Because there was Neanderthals.
Slow down.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah, Neogene.
Slow down. 350 million years ago is a long fucking time.
It is. It's a hot minute.
That is a long time ago.
It's a hot minute.
Feels like what time I came out this morning.
If you just think about that for a second.
That's what I mean. And I honestly think it's inconceivable to think of it. Like your brain can't compute.
That's what I'm saying. And then what? Then 250 million years. So 100 million odd years later.
Of evolution.
Yeah.
They went from coming out of the water to having legs.
Yeah.
And that took 100 million years.
It's a longer time. I mean, obviously there were stages in between that get nubs. But that's how. Like,
Is there a stumpy
I think
period?
snakes used to have legs as well. Like snakes used to have legs.
100 million years.
Yeah.
In between that little tiny evolutional change.
Well, think of it. Well, if you
we need an expert on. We need a dinosaur. I'm telling you now, we need a
an
dinosaur expert.
If anyone knows a dinosaur expert,
I'm going to speak to the university and get a dinosaur expert
Okay,
on
cool.
because
Well,
this shit's fucking fascinating.
It is, isn't it? You know that 11,500 years for Homo sapiens,
Yeah.
the cavemen kind of people. That is 41,975,000 days ago. Just to put it into
Fuck
context.
me.
Mic drop.
That was a mic drop. It wasn't a mic drop, but it should have been.
It should have. That is unreal, isn't
That
it?
is
That's what I'm
insane.
saying.
That's what I mean. It's fucking
You
crazy.
can't even fathom, like...
That's what you can't. There's no way your brain can compute that kind of information correctly.
Imagine if Sinead O'Connor had to write a song. It's been 41,975 years and 16 days
Since we became Homo sapiens.
Since we became Homo sapiens.
were a caveman.
We need an expert.
We do need an expert. Yeah, it's like there's
Find out about the Triceratops, because if that shit's fucking wrong, we're going
Actually,
off.
you know what? I would rather you find that out now than me.
If it's wrong, we riot.
Than me get riots and things thrown at me in the streets.
I don't even know how to spell Triceratops.
It's like
Try
try and then Ceratops.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that
Dumbass.
whole thing with Pluto not being a planet and then being a planet again and then not being a planet and now I think it's a planet again.
Triceratops is the one with the horns.
Yeah.
The
There's
three.
That's why I try.
Try horns, Rob, yeah.
Yeah.
The Triceratops is a genus of herbivorous ceratopizid
What did you search?
dinosaurs about 68 million years ago.
So it is real.
Oh no, just search. Is it real?
Yeah, I have.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in the late stages of the Cretaceous period, about 68 million years ago.
Thank God for that.
No, honestly, I read a thing. There was a thing.
That thing was
I
wrong.
probably read the headline.
Disclaimer,
Triceratops
this
means
podcast it contains fake news.
3-horned face. Is what it
See?
means.
Yeah. Okay, I did say I might be wrong about it.
There's real skeletons.
I
and
still
everything,
don't think I'm. Maybe it was a different dinosaur. Then maybe it wasn't that one.
Was it that flying one?
I don't fucking know. Oh,
The beaky one?
the Triceratops.
No,
No, that's what we're talking about. Pterodactyl.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Power Rangers now. Which dinosaur? Not even lying. Like which
I've just
dinosaur
had a really
was
good
that?
idea that I'm not gonna talk about.
We'll talk about it after.
Yes, we'll talk
Okay.
about it after. But
But do you need dinosaur specialists? I like that. Or like just someone who knows about the evolution of people.
hang on, let me whisper. We'll go to the museum and do a podcast from there.
I think that's a really good idea.
Okay, good.
I couldn't hear you because you were whispering.
Okay, good.
But no, with the first civilization as well, I think Sumeria was the first recognized civilization and shit like that. There's a huge thing now as well where they think language. I think they put Egyptians down as the first people, or Greeks, sorry, were the first people to have created language, and then I found something else from like 10,000 years ago, which suggests that language might have been way before that as well. And there's so much shit we don't know, but we're finding out. And that's why I say, yeah, if I could go back in time, if I could time travel in any direction, I'd go future rather than go past.
Yeah, but wouldn't one just be as incredible as the other?
No, because the thing is, like, we have a limited understanding of everything that's got us to here so far, right? If I could go 2,000 years into the future, then not only would I have a better understanding of everything that's happened up until now, because we'll have more information.
Yeah, but you say that, but what about that big chunk that you missed?
But then I'll learn about that as well.
But yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean? So you learn.
Clever bastard, isn't he?
You'll learn about the 2,000 years that have followed from now,
Or what you could do,
and have a better understanding of this. Because the thing is, from here on in, everything's recorded, right?
why can't you go back, join the dots, come back, blow everyone's mind, go forward, learn your shit, come back.
Blow everyone's mind again.
You know what I mean? Boom.
And at that point, I own the world.
You're
King
Elon
of the
Musk.
world. King
You
of
know
the
what I mean?
world.
Straight away there, you were literally crowned king of the world. This
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
knows the fucking
And
everything.
we have had a previous conversation on the podcast discussing who should be king of the world when Rob nominated himself.
And I'm still holding that position.
Well, no one's taken you off that throne.
No,
so
no.
far.
Also, when you do time travel, we all know that you can't go back anyway. You can only go
Yeah.
forward from the time travel was created.
Yeah.
So you can only ever go back to that day.
Would you know, like on Back to the Future, the sports almanac?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Would you get that book?
Fuck yes.
What
Yeah.
does that mean?
So basically, it's got all the sports results in there, so he can place bets and he wins everything.
And he wins everything. That's how the what was his name? Butch or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Butch. In Back to
Gets
the
all the
Future
money.
So yeah, no,
I
I
should
would,
pay
I
more
would,
attention.
I would definitely make myself
Rich.
horrendously rich. That's in a hot tub time machine where he invents Lugal instead of Google.
Yeah.
His name is Lou and makes it Lugal. Yeah, no, but the thing with Egypt as well is they had the Library of Alexandria, which was burnt by the Romans, and the library
Built or burned?
burnt.
Oh.
And that was meant to be at that point the greatest collection of historical knowledge in the world,
And they burnt it down.
and they burnt it down. So there's a whole thing about how much information and knowledge did we lose from that being burnt down.
It's like someone turned the internet off, isn't it?
Like literally, it's just deleting everything.
Just turn it off and go, nah.
Yeah.
Back to the fucking Dark
especially if
Ages,
you think
boys.
now as well, how many things? Because the things as well, it wasn't like it was reproduced. Everything was written. It wasn't like they had printers to go make copies of it or anything like that. So they used to age really badly. So they had scribes there whose literal job it was to get an old scroll and rewrite it out again on a new scroll.
Question.
Go on.
If living the life that you live now and the job that you have, want, whatever, and you as well, if they did turn the internet off, how much do you think it would affect you?
I think it would affect everything. I think the world we live in now is so dependent. Not initially. I think if it was off for a week,
You could still go to work.
stocks would
You would
vary.
shut down.
You would shut down.
My business would close
Immediately.
this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't coming back on, yeah.
I'd be all right. 'Cause
I'd-
people still need houses.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm manager of a bar, so people would just still drink.
probably
but-
more
Probably
because they'd have to socialise.
Yeah.
You'd get really busy.
Actually, yeah.
Rob would be in there drinking his drowning his sorrows.
Yeah, 100%.
Drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
But that
think
would
if
be
the
all
internet
right.
shut off for a week, I don't think it would make that much difference. I think eventually, not even over a long term, it will balance out again. A lot of business would be fucked immediately, but if it's only for a week,
I think,
and not only that, there'll be that much traffic back on the internet again once it first opened again. It would compensate for the week.
But you think about it as well. Initially you think about it, and it's like, well, I build houses, right? That's it. That's my job, right?
Yeah.
So I could still do that, right? I can still put a brick in the floor, put fucking pipes in, whatever, right? The company that pays me would have to go to the bank. They couldn't just press a few buttons to pay me. To order stuff, they would have to ring people. They would have to go down. So everything, even though in terms of, I'd still build houses.
But the process would be a lot longer.
Would everything would be, same as you, ordering stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, all that sort of stuff. It would have a massive effect straight away.
It would be the old boys who do well out of it.
That have never bothered.
Yeah.
Like my dad. My dad would be like king
But
of
that's
the
what
world.
I mean. It'll be the older people who never really...
He can't be king of the world.
who, even if it did go back, they still have the memory and the knowledge, you know what I mean, of 30 years ago.
Setting fire to stuff.
The internet, when the internet wasn't a thing. What?
I don't know.
And they'd be the people who thrive through most, like my dad as well. He uses eBay and that's it.
Imagine this. I spoke to somebody the other day who sells beds. Beds used to be 6 weeks delivery for the most expensive bed. Now, if you order a bed, it's the end of February and we're in the middle of October. This is only because of the C word and supplies and the internet. Chocolate, yeah. It's because of chocolate. It's water retention, I told you.
Yeah.
But it's only because of the C word, but also because the C word has affected every manufacturing thing. So if you did the same thing with the internet,
same effect.
Everything the delivery time and everything would be unbelievable.
Yeah, it would. Well, you have to wait to get the information initially.
Well, everything's just gone
order.
manual again, isn't it? Everything's literally gone manual and paper and everything. It's crazy.
Imagine Amazon.
I do miss a bit of fuck Amazon.
Done.
Fuck Amazon.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos at the start of the C word was worth 103 billion.
We'll talk about that in the next podcast.
102 billion, and now he's worth 205
I've got some stats on that, and I was going to touch on that when we was talking about the trying to just sit there and say 300 million years is this.
Cool.
Between the difference between a million and a billion, and the actual reality of that.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that on the next podcast. So
Thank you for tuning in
to end
to episode 17 of Archer and the Devil. We are on Instagram, on Facebook. We don't really use Twitter, but if you're on there, give us a follow.
It's his fault.
My fault. I am in charge of social media, and as you can tell, I don't do a great job of it.
Shit.
Can I just drop in something?
1 second, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Honestly.
Carry on.
I know you've got a microphone, but you can be replaced.
Fucking hell, every time.
Go on YouTube, give us a follow, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to get notifications. We're on Spotify and iTunes as well.
But we've probably already done this introduction, so this is the second time you've heard.
I didn't mention Instagram last time.
Can I add my bit now?
Yeah, go on.
If you're
over
on
to Bob.
Apple Podcasts, it's really good if you can just leave us a review.
Yes.
Because that helps us have other people see our podcast. All you need to do is click the 5 stars and say how amazing it is, or not if you don't like it, whatever.
If you learn something.
Yeah, just the review bit is so important.
It is.
If you can take your time to do that, that'd be great.
We'll tell you that again at the beginning of this
At
podcast.
the beginning of the next one.
No, at the beginning of this one as well.
It's so confusing, all this.
But we've done that.
No, we haven't.
Oh, we didn't do that.
No.
Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Don't lick each other.
Lick
Or-
the window.
Lick each other.